All
Awesome.
right, welcome, Allison, and thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. Um, so yeah, this is a picture of me in front of a painting that I made, which is actually kind of funny that it's also the painting behind me. I did not plan that, but this just happens to be the best room to present right now. So I'm an artist and a filmmaker here in Peoria. I originally studied painting, Spanish, and philosophy in school, and then found my way into filmmaking. So for today's talk, I'm just going to talk a little bit about who I am and why I love filmmaking. I'm going to share a short teaser from my films that I've made. I would love to share a full film with you all, but I don't think we have the time for that. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes of a sampling of them. And then I'm going to talk about why I like being a filmmaker and artist here in Peoria. So to start out, here's a photo of me that I just kind of stumbled upon earlier today. And this is kind of the first picture of me with the camera. Like I remember hearing stories about the photos that I took at this wedding, how the angle was very interesting since I was so short, but that people liked the photos. And it just kind of like made me think like, I think a lot of times when people see someone in their career, they're like, "Oh, were you like destined to be a filmmaker? Were you taking pictures like ever since you were little and you knew that was what you wanted to do for your whole life and you've been training and working ever since?" And the answer is simply for me, no. I never knew that I wanted to be a filmmaker. Sure, I may have picked up a camera a couple times as a kid and like to play around with it, but I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I wanted to be a professional golfer for a long time. And lots of other things, an astronomer, a pastor, all kinds. So I just kind of like to bring that up because um, everyone might have a different pathway to their career, but it doesn't have to be something that you've known your whole life. It can be something that you discover. For me, when I was 21 years old, that's when I found out that I realized that I wanted to be a filmmaker. So a little bit about who I am. I love to travel. I love to see the world. There's a picture of me in Paris, France. I like to explore new places and constantly be learning. That's something that I realized in college. I think a little bit more in high school when I was able to take whatever classes I wanted to take. I realized I love learning. The classes that I took in high school, they were very good foundations to start with. So I think it was good that I still had all of those classes like math and social studies, English, but I really ended up liking taking classes about religion and philosophy and really cool painting and art classes. So yeah, I realized I love learning and I love learning even though I'm out of school now, like more exploratory learning, traveling to new places and discovering new things. And my work takes me on adventures too. And I don't just do camera work, I also do sound work. I think that's something people don't always realize is um, a lot of people think about the visuals of a film, but it has to sound pretty good for people to enjoy it. You have to be able to hear what people are saying. So I've learned a ton in the past couple years of being a filmmaker, from working with different microphones and different cameras, and going on these unique adventures. This is me in a school filming with a teacher and a basketball coach. And then to the right, it's a picture of me on a farm, um, making a video there. I also get to use a gimbal and drone. Everybody loves the drone, and I finally am filming with a drone as well. So a gimbal is something that you hold and it makes your camera, it's kind of heavy, but it helps the camera get really smooth. So I love filming with that because I love these really nice, smooth shots. I kind of feel like that's probably because of the way that I like to paint. For example, one of my paintings, like I'm really into motion. So having that gimbal keep the camera really smooth is really nice. So it can feel like you're kind of like moving through the shot. And then the picture of me on the right is with the drone. This is also at the farm that I was filming at. So I got to get like great aerial shots of the farm. So I also edit documentaries. So, I don't just go out and shoot. I also really put the whole film and put the videos together. This is a picture of me well, actually, I'm not in this picture, but these are my editors in Chicago. This is a team of mine. We're working on our first feature-length film, which is, normally I've only made films about 15, 20 minutes long. This is my first film that I'm going to make that's an hour and a half long. So if you see the picture on the right, all those little white boxes are note cards. Those are all the scenes that we filmed, and we have to figure out how to put them in the right order to make the film flow smoothly. And so it's a whole new adventure to work on a project this big. And it's nice that I don't have to do it alone, that I have a team of people I can work with. Just another story about some different adventures that I've gone on in my filmmaking. First started my first film started in January 2017. So that was, a little over 4 years ago. It hasn't been all that long, but this was close to when I was graduating college. I really wanted to do this project in El Paso and Juarez. So El Paso, Texas, and Juarez, Mexico. I wanted to make a project about what it's like to live at the border of the United States and Mexico. Because I had studied art and Spanish and even philosophy, I just had all these questions that I really wanted to talk to people about. And I was like, I don't want to research it. I want to talk to them in person. And I should make a film about it. So that way I'm not the only one learning these things, but people in Peoria, people all over can learn along with me. So I bought a camera and went there, and I had cousins who lived in El Paso, second cousins who I didn't talk to all that much, but then I really rekindled this relationship with them, talking about her, and I got to stay with them. So the picture on the left is in El Paso, and the picture on the right is Juarez. And I went back for another trip. I had people like Alexis on the left who came with me from Peoria to shoot with me, and then people like Julio on the right who I didn't know before making project, but I got to meet him, and he lived in El Paso and was just amazing. So I got to make really great friendships through it as well. Okay, so one thing that I thought would be very cool about filming, like, what is it like to live at the border? I'm very interested in culture, and holidays are a big part of culture. So we went on Halloween in El Paso, so in the United States, and we got this Halloween was like, and there were so many kids from El Paso on the US side and also from Mexico coming over to go trick or treating. Everyone wanted to celebrate Halloween, and it was just this like very cool blend. There was more Spanish spoken, in an American city than I had ever experienced. And then a couple days later, in the same trip, we were able to go over to Mexico to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. So we got to see people in the cemeteries. We got to interview people and talk to people. Not everyone was dressed up quite like this, but it was pretty cool to see. And there were lanterns. People decorated the graves. It was just a really beautiful experience, like that I had seen in photos and I've heard about, like taking Spanish classes, but getting to actually be there and experience this was something really cool. Like I said, I really love learning, and it was a pretty cool moment where I got to feel like I was kind of taking learning into my own hands and got to design this project that was something that I was just really interested in. And here are a couple pictures. So when I came back after shooting all this, I made this film and I shared it in Peoria in a couple different ways. This is an art installation, and an art installation is kind of a combination of a video and a traditional art piece. So I had the video playing on two different screens. Sometimes I would have one thing playing on one screen while another thing was happening on the other screen to sort of create this experience in this gallery space in Peoria. And, people could come and stand in between. And so, especially since the film was about the border and about these two different sides. I thought it was really cool to have people stand in the middle and kind of experience something through that. And so this was my first project, and it turned out to be a huge success. I got to meet so many people um, in Peoria, in El Paso, and Juarez, and people were really interested in this project, and I got to have really cool conversations. So it kind of hooked me, and that's how I got into filmmaking, and um, I just haven't stopped. I also, that film was nominated for Best Documentary at the Paris Art and Movie Awards. So I got to travel to Paris and talk about this project with people in Europe. And um, I also liked that part of it as well. Making the film and then sharing the film is a really fun piece. So I would love to share all of these films with you that I talked about, but since we don't have time, I'm going to share a short clip of kind of a combination of the different video projects I've worked on in the last couple of years. Um, it's kind of hard to play videos over Zoom, so if it buffers, I apologize, but we'll just do our best and see how it works.
Yeah. Hello. Today is our second mechanical harvest of black currants on our farm here.
Lighting is it's huge everywhere. You know what I mean?
Let us dance and sing under your beauteous night color. Maiden.
This is like a smaller version of what could be happening in the building.
My first visit to Peoria showed me a quality of life that I couldn't understand. We can make a difference in the community.
When we have long talks with my son or with my kids, we're still sharing and we're still ending up in tears.
Without our migrant workforce, I'm not sure who's going to do it.
Right. Hopefully, you all were able to kind of get a sense of the different video projects that I've worked on, the different films that I've made. It's always really, it just like touches me to get to rewatch some of the videos that I've worked on, because I've just gotten to like work with so many different people and connect on a really deep level with people. That's also something I just really enjoy, is I like to meet people and get a deeper sense for who they are. And so with filmmaking, I get to sit down and ask them like really interesting questions that maybe you wouldn't ask someone that you just met about, you know, what their life is like and about certain challenges, um, about things that they really care about, and getting to hear like them talk about something that they're really passionate about, whether it's farming or you know, all kinds of things, or about their community. And as you could tell in this video, there was like quite a range of things. So I always like to make sure I make videos for a living. So people hire me and I make videos for them. And they always feel like kind of still a part of me and my work, but the goal comes from another person that I'm, trying to help them tell a story that they really want to tell. But a couple of the videos in this, are just like fun things that I've made with my friends where we both come up with a cool idea and we're like, we just want to make something. We want to do something. So I do, a bunch of those things, and I'm equally proud of all of the work that I get to do. All right. So the last part of my talk is, why do I like working in Peoria? So I'm not sure if this surprised you, but I didn't know that there were filmmakers that lived in Peoria. I thought you had to go to Hollywood and work there, that there wasn't really any other option besides that. But there are filmmakers and videographers that live all over the place. And I think it's really important because to me, I feel like if there are no filmmakers and storytellers here in Illinois, in Peoria, then who's gonna tell these stories? Like there has to be, we have to be spread out enough that we can make sure that we're tapping into all these different stories that are happening, because like most of America is more like outside of Hollywood than in Hollywood. So you can bring all of your life experience into the videos that you make, and you can meet these people that inspire your stories here. So that's one of the reasons why I like living in Peoria. Another reason is that I get to have a cool editing studio. This is actually like a super cool perk of living in Peoria, is it's a very affordable place to live. And that becomes very apparent once you graduate college and you're trying to make a business and make a living. And the studio spaces, the art studio spaces in Peoria are so much cheaper, and they're more possible to rent here in Peoria than they are in New York City or they are in LA. So I get to have this incredible opportunity that I really wouldn't have anywhere else. So I have my paintings up here. I meet with people here. I also edit here. This is me and my computer working on a project. It's kind of my desktop workspace where I spend a lot of hours editing. This is a great time to be alive in Peoria because I can do Zoom meetings with clients and my documentary editors in different places. That was always kind of a thing, but it's becoming a really common thing. So it's not surprising to want to Zoom with people across the country and talk to them for a while. So this is my editor in Chicago, and we actually we got connected through mutual friends, and then we like Zoom together once a week for like 3 months before we even met each other in person. We just were working together and it was great. And we finally got to meet in person once the pandemic got a little bit better. And so, I mean, it's crazy. You can like actually really have good relationships with people who don't live in the same city as you. Another great thing about Peoria is I have time to make projects with my artist friends. So this is also a big thing that, like, I don't know, quality of life is something that I never really thought about when I was growing up. But the fact that Peoria is not a huge place, there's not a ton of traffic, where in a lot of big cities, you might have to travel from your workplace to your home and it might take an hour every day. So with those extra hours that I'm not traveling or doing those things, I have time to make more fun projects. So yeah, like we just get to make projects for fun, and I don't always have to worry about like making a lot of money on every single project I make. I can make money on some projects, and then some projects I can do just because I really want to do them. I'm an artist, so I just like to make creative things. And I can still do other things that I love too. It's funny that Kyle's not here, but I play soccer, I go kayaking. Kyle's in the picture, he plays soccer with me, so that's why I wanted to bring that up. Yeah, so I get to do a range of things. I don't have to be only a filmmaker. I can be a multifaceted person. I can have lots of interests and explore all those interests and still care a lot about what I do for a living and my artwork. And finally, I can still travel and see the world, but I have a place to call home. This is something that's just really important to me. I like having a home base because with my film projects, I do travel a lot. I explore a lot of new places, but it's nice to kind of have somewhere a little calmer to call home, a place where I have friends and I kind of know my way around. And that's Peoria. And I really love Peoria. I'm super passionate about living here. And I'm not originally from here, but it's just kind of grown on me. And yeah, it's great to be a filmmaker and a videographer here. The end. So that's the end of my talk. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I think you're on mute.
I do see some questions here. Can you see them or would you like them
Oh,
read
yeah,
to you?
I can see them.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Where'd I go to school? So I went to Bradley University. That is the way that I found my way to Peoria. I'm originally from the suburbs of Chicago. So I never planned on moving to Peoria, or I never really thought about it. And I came to school to go to Bradley. And honestly, I just really fell in love with Peoria. I met people who were really connected in the community here and some great artists who lived here. And I was like, oh, I could be like them. And so I decided to stay here. I also had a great experience at Bradley. I really liked my art program and my Spanish and philosophy classes. Yeah, I liked those classes a lot. And what is my next film about? That's a good question. So the film that I'm working on now, it is a huge project. It's that editing project that had all the note cards all over. I started that project in 2019. We're still editing it now. And it is about a world religions class in a public high school. So I actually went back to my former high school, which was very funny to do as an adult, to go back to high school. And I followed this class. It was my favorite class, this world religions class. And I followed these students from the beginning of the year before they had ever taken the class all the way through the end of the year. So I was there with them as they were learning different lessons about different religions. They were going to homecoming and prom and doing, everyone was a senior in high school. So doing all these different things. And so I filmed with them in school and out of school. And I filmed with people of different religious backgrounds. So I kind of wanted to see, like, what does it look like when you come in with a different religious background and then you learn about that religion as well as other religions. And yeah, it's a really fun and unique project that I get to work on. And so I hope to have that film done probably in 2023. It is a long project. So it's probably going to take another year before it gets out, but I would love to have that film like on PBS or Hulu, Discovery Plus, something like that, where you'll be able to find it. So hopefully it will be easy for you to find. That would be a good thing.
So Allison, how do you find your clients to, to make money,
Yeah.
So like a project taking 5 or 6 years to do, I mean, how do you survive on that? And so what type of things do you fill in for your career?
That's a great question. So film and video work has a lot of different parts to it. I kind of think of like video similar to writing. You can be a lot of different types of a writer. In video, you can be lots of different areas of video. Like there are people who are exclusively editors and all they do is edit and they make a living off that. And then there are people who are exclusively a camera person and they make a great living off that. So this field is really cool because you can find like an expertise, a technique that you really like, and then you can work on all these different projects and be the editor for all those different projects. Whereas for me, I kind of am more of like a jack of all trades instead of like, I don't have a specific expertise. I like to be part of all of it. So the way that I find my projects Honestly, it's great in Peoria. Like I don't really ask too often for projects. People kind of find me because it's a smaller community. So um, once I make certain projects, certain videos, people might see it and be like, oh, we like that video. We want a video like that too. Oh, you worked with Allison. Okay, we'll reach out to her. Or, they're like, I'm looking for a videographer like last minute. I don't know who to call. And someone who's worked with me before says, oh, you should call Allison. And then so people just reach out to me, which is really nice. So I don't have to always be out searching for work to make money. Those things kind of just come up for me. Um, it didn't start out that way. I got my first job in a very funny way after I had started making this documentary about the US-Mexico border, which was totally unpaid. It was just something that I wanted to do. I was not making any money from it, but it ended up teaching me a lot and I gained a lot of skills from it. So when I was out at a coffee shop and someone at a table near me was looking for a videographer, and I was like, hmm? And they're like, someone who doesn't have that much experience. I'm like, hmm? And I ended up just standing up and introducing myself to the table next to me. And that's how I got my first job. And it's just kind of come together ever since. So yeah, I'd really encourage you to always, like, if you're looking for opportunities, it's a lot easier to find them or maybe like hear them from the table next to you. Yeah, and then for my documentary projects, I still do a lot of projects where someone doesn't like the World Religions Project. That's a project I have created. So I am not getting paid for it. I am looking for funding for it kind of constantly, but we've raised over $50,000 from different grants and things. So it's definitely like all still a journey. That's why I do a combination of different work. But, like it'd be a great goal to have those kinds of projects start out and someone like is paying me right away. But it's something I really care about. So there are some projects that right away people want me to do a video and they're going to pay me for sure. And like I do a lot of those kinds of projects. So that way I can have some time and money to do these other exciting projects that I've just come up with. And I'm like, I really want to make this film. So yeah.
Wow. So, I really liked how you shared early on about all the different things you thought you wanted to do. So exploring all these opportunities and where you landed was in filmmaking. That's really neat. But, all of our kids are always, there's so much to do, and, how you decide what you're going to do, be a golfer or be a filmmaker, those type of things. So, and I really liked how you shared about the creative part of your job. So your first film being about the border, but even how how creative you were with your display of that by doing the video on two different sides, and that theme of being in the border in between that. So I thought that really kind of struck to me as, well, you really are creative. You're carrying it all the way through. So that was really neat.
Thanks.
I was,
kind of like to talk about that too. I just want to say that I think it can be kind of intimidating when kids are looking like, what do I want to do for a living? Like, I just don't know. I just can't decide. And that's okay. Like, I want it to be a lot of different things. And there's nothing wrong with learning a lot about something that you might not end up doing for your whole life. So, I mean, I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be a world religions teacher. That's what I started college in. And now I'm making a film about a world religions teacher in classroom. So I'm glad that I liked doing that. I was invested in that. I ended up changing my path, but I found my way around to still using those skills. And I just think that, I just know so many people who have been a lot of different things in their life, but they never regret spending a lot of time learning about something that they care about. So as long as it's something that you're interested in and you care about, I would just encourage people, have that courage, like take a leap of faith and try something and try to be really good at it, because even if it's not something you do for the rest of your life, you can still be great at it for a while. You can still learn a lot from it. And yeah, you don't have to do it forever for it to be beneficial for you.
And you don't know what the combination of things and skills that you collect in yourself.
Mhm.
And, 20 years from now, wow, you're going to need every one of those experiences to be where you're at and, what your goal is. So to be fulfilled. So that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. I liked the video that you shared with us. And so I just was just kind of curious about the church on Main Street.
Hmm.
Can you tell a little bit about what was going on with that during that time you were videoing that, or?
Sure. Yeah, that's a big story. It's pretty interesting. But I'll try to keep it brief. So there's this group of artists called Yaku, and this collective of artists, and that was the kind of when I was graduating college, and I saw all of these artists who cared about the community and they wanted to make artwork really for the community. And so this beautiful church on Main Street, the Hale Memorial Church, which I'm sure lots of people have seen as they're driving down Main Street, just massive. And it's been, empty for years. And so to kind of call attention to how beautiful the space could be, we created this installation where there were hearts overflowing like waterfalls out of the door. I had never made an installation like that. I could have never done it by myself, but we were a team, so a lot of other people had expertise that they were bringing in, and all the hearts, we had dropped them off at different businesses, and we asked people to write, what do you love about Peoria, or what do you hope for Peoria? So all the waterfalls had all of these different things that people love and hoped about Peoria. And it's really cool to say now that, the church, like the KB group, has bought the church, and I think they're going to renovate it into something amazing. So ooh, I just get the chills. Like art can really help, even if it's a small difference, it can really make a difference. Like maybe that just helped get some attention that, oh, people care about this place. Oh, that's really cool, and just the way that art can make you feel is, I think it's just amazing.
Yes. So no matter what career choice that our CASA kids would choose, putting a little art in everything helps, right? Helps us to be inspired, helps us to inspire other people. So let's see, do we have any more questions or comments? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I made a video recently about someone who is a welder, and they were like, "Oh, it's just like being an artist. You want to make everything look beautiful, and you just train to do this beautiful, great thing." And I'm like, "Wow." So yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways to be creative and to be passionate about something. Yeah, it makes for a really fun and interesting life.
Well, it was absolutely fabulous learning about you and your journey. And we wish you great success in the future. And we're hoping to, see some big films come out of Peoria by you.
Thanks so much. Yeah, if any kids want to reach out to me in the future to help out on films, just let me know.
Awesome. That's good to know. And we will post this on our YouTube page where we have the other CASA Choices. So people will still continue to look at this webinar, and you never know how you will inspire someone, and hopefully they'll reach out to you. And
Awesome.
Who knows? You don't know what the future is going to be, right?
Yeah, never know.
Yeah.
All
well,
right.
thank you
so much. This was great.
It was great. So thank you. We really appreciate it. And good luck to you and everything that you're doing.
Thank you. Good luck to all the kids in exploring new things.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you who attended, and we hope you enjoyed Allison's sharing, and we look forward to seeing you again next month for another CASA Choices.
Awesome.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.